Alright, so hopefully everybody will be able to hear me over the fans that are going, since it's not even, well, it's a little after 10 a.m. and it's already unbelievably hot out here. I think it's like mid 80s right now with a humidity level of about 80%. I'll show you what I'm going to be building, and I'll go through the whole process. Okay, we're going to try this for the 50 millionth time. Went in and turned my fans off. Don't know if that's causing an issue with the audio. So today's video is going to be a squirrel house build. I've already put it together like 5 different times. My audio keeps messing up on me. Can't use my camera because, well, it doesn't capture it right. My phone camera. So anyhow, we'll go through the build again. First off, pulled plans off of the internet. That's what they are. I'll put the link in the description area. For me, I don't do my builds exactly like what the plans have. I make little changes. I don't use nails, I use screws. Everybody that's seen any of my videos on the birdhouses that I build, you know I don't use nails. They just don't work. I have used on a couple of pieces, I did use my nail gun to put some little steps on. So we'll go ahead. I'll start off with left hand side. That's this, 16 inches in length on the back. I believe it's about 13.5 on the front. That's your angle. It's about a maybe 45-degree angle. I put 3 different steps on here. I nailed it in place with 3/4 inch nails, or 1 inch, actually 1 inch nails. And put screw holes everywhere that I needed them. This is 9.5 inches wide by about 1 inch thick. So the plans call for the right hand side to actually have a clean out, hinged, and I changed that and put it on the left hand, not the right hand. So here is what that looks like. Same dimensions on the wood when you start it off. It's 16 inches long in the back, about 13.5 on the front. Of course, you cut it. They called for a 5-inch tall door hinged for clean out. I did 7 inches tall, about 1 inch thick, 9.5 inches wide, and then the rest of it's here, which would be about 9 inches. Since it's 7, you got 9 inches on the back, and quick math, about 6.5 inches on the front, minus the 1/8 inch width of your saw blade, unless you add that into your cut. I didn't think to do that, so it just has a little teeny gap. It's nothing major, and the hinges are on, and I use 2 hooks to lock it down. One up top, one on the bottom. That way it's nothing can pull it. The back again is 16 inches tall, 9.5 inches wide, about 1 inch thick. I did a little bit of a bevel for the roof to fit properly on the top. I think it's about a 15 to 20 degree cut, bevel cut. On the front, again 9.5. Believe it was about 13.5. I can verify that. Like I said, it's been a couple days since I built it. So yeah, it's 14 inches by 9.5 by about 1 thick. And on the front, it's about 13 1/4. So I did a little bevel cut on that as well so that the roof would be angled properly. On the floor, it's 8 inch by 9 1/2 inch. Like I said, maybe 1 inch stock. And I took an angle cut, 45-degree cut off of each corner. I clipped the corners for drainage. In the roof, the plans call for plywood. Use 3/4 inch plywood. It's 12 inch by 13 inch. And the lines on here are, once I get this completely glued up, I'm going to use some wood, little wood shingles that I bought at the store. Here, it's these. They're decorative wood shingles, and shingle the top. I haven't done that on any of my other birdhouses or anything, but I figure why not? Something different. And then on the back side, for the top, I used an 8 inch piece of 1 1/2 by about 1 inch, little under 1 inch thick piece of wood. Drilled a hole to hang and 2 holes to mount it to the actual house. It's on the plans. I think the plans called for a little longer piece of 3/4 by 3/4 wood stock, the 20 inches long, out of a 1 by 3. I didn't want to do that. I didn't figure that was needed. And then on the bottom, I just took a piece, same piece of stock, and so that it can be mounted on the back side, so that when you hang the house, it hangs level. Anyhow, I'll go ahead. Like I said, I've already put this thing together like 5-6 times. Each time my audio on my camera has failed me miserably, and hopefully this time it will actually catch all the audio. I could turn my fans back on and put it together again. So any questions, let me know. I will, like I said, put the plans in the description. I'll go ahead and I'll list the cuts that I did. And on the plans, it actually tells you it takes about a 60-inch piece of lumber. Gives you what size. It tells you what size the hole should be. I don't have a 3-inch hole saw, so I use my router with a cutting bit, and I took my round sharpener, and it's about a little over 3 inches in diameter. I traced that onto the wood. It says to put the top of the hole 1 inch down from the top, so that's what I did on both of the cuts I did for the hole, and then I just routed it out, freehand routed it out. So there's that. So anyhow, we'll go ahead. The only other thing I don't believe say is on the plans that I've seen online, other plans, it also had where they call it baffles underneath each hole. This is the side. You take it, and on the inside, underneath the hole, you mount a piece of wood underneath it. So you can't see it from outside, but underneath it, it'll have a piece of wood, and I've got one cut out for the side as well as the front. That'll cover that whole area so a squirrel can climb up in and then get down inside, no problem. But any predator, like a raccoon or whatever, can't reach its arm in there and grab any of the squirrel babies or squirrels themselves when they're sleeping in the bottom. So anyhow, I guess we'll go ahead and we'll set this up.